The illusion on your screen. You think you are in control of your remote. You believe you are choosing what to watch. You scroll through endless options on streaming services, picking a movie here or a series there. But this feeling of choice might be an illusion, a carefully constructed facade. Behind the colorful logos and diverse libraries, a single powerful entity is increasingly pulling the strings. That entity is Warner Brothers Discovery. Its influence stretches across your television, your movie theater, and your newsfeed. This is not just a story about business. This is a story about who gets to tell our stories. And to understand it, you have to follow the money. The media landscape you navigate every day has been radically reshaped. In 2022, a corporate earthquake occurred. Two behemoths, Warner Media and Discovery Inc., fused together to create a new supergiant. A titan is born, the merger explained. The creation of Warner Brothers Discovery was a complex, high-stakes maneuver. It began when AT&T decided to spin off Warner Media. AT&T had acquired these assets in its purchase of Time Warner. The company struggled to integrate entertainment with telecom operations. Drowning in debt, AT&T sought a way out. It found a partner in Discovery Inc., a Discovery, known for unscripted and factual programming. The deal was structured as a reverse Morris Trust. Timeline graphic to April 2022. Transaction complete. Warner Brothers Pictures, HBO Turner Broadcasting, CNN, TNT, TBS. Merged with Discovery. The new company, Warner Brothers Discovery. David Zaslav took the helm. He promised to build the world's leading media company. Combine Warner Media's premium scripted content blockbuster films with Discovery's global nonfiction library. Compete against Netflix and Disney. The kingdom's assets, a catalog of control. To grasp the power of Warner Brothers Discovery, you must first survey its kingdom. The assets under its control are vast and varied, touching nearly every corner of modern media. At the forefront is the legendary Warner Brothers Entertainment. This includes the Warner Brothers Pictures Film Studio, responsible for franchises like Harry Potter, DC Comics films, and The Matrix. It also includes Warner Brothers Television, a prolific producer of hit shows for decades. This single division gives WBD a massive pipeline for creating some of the most popular and culturally significant movies and television series in the world. Its control over intellectual property like Batman and Superman alone is a formidable commercial weapon. Then there is HBO. The name itself is synonymous with prestige television. For decades, HBO has been the standard bearer for high-quality, boundary-pushing series. The Sopranos, The Wire, Game of Thrones, Succession. It operates as a premium cable network and is the centerpiece of the company's streaming ambitions. Alongside HBO are the other former Turner networks. CNN for global news. The streaming shell game. The streaming wars are the central battleground of modern media. Warner Brothers Discovery's strategy here reveals everything about its priorities. Before the merger, the company operated two distinct major services. HBO Max Discovery plus HBO Max was the home of premium scripted content, the Warner Brothers Film Library HBO series, and expensive originals. Discovery Plus, meanwhile, was the repository for the vast unscripted library of Discovery's channels. It was a cheaper service with a very different type of content. The new leadership saw this separation as inefficient. Their solution was to combine them into a single, unified streaming platform. This led to the rebranding and relaunch of HBO Max into a new service simply called Max. The idea was to merge the prestige of HBO with the broad appeal of Discovery's reality shows. The tagline became "The One to Watch." However, the execution was controversial. Nothing has defined the new Warner Brothers Discovery more than its debt. The company began its life with a staggering $55 billion in financial obligations. This is not just a number on a balance sheet. It is a relentless pressure that dictates corporate strategy. Imagine starting a new job with a massive mortgage that requires huge monthly payments. What you buy, where you go, what you do for fun is filtered through the need to make that payment. This is the reality for WBD's leadership. The primary directive from Wall Street and from within the company was deleveraging, paying down debt as quickly as possible. This immense financial pressure forced the company into a mode of extreme cost-cutting. CEO David Zaslav promised investors he would find $3 billion in synergies. Synergies that often translate to layoffs and budget cuts. Every division was scrutinized. Every project was evaluated, not just for its creative potential, but for its immediate return on investment. The long-term vision of building a creative legacy, a hallmark of the old HBO and Warner Brothers culture, was replaced by the short-term necessity of generating cash. The most visible and stunning consequence of WBD's financial strategy was the wave of cancellations that swept across the company. The most infamous example was Batgirl. The movie, with a reported budget of $90 million, was not just in development. It was finished. It had been filmed and was in the final stages of post-production. But in an unprecedented move, WBD announced that it would not be released. Not in theaters, not on streaming. It would be vaulted and used as a tax write-off. The decision sent a shockwave of disbelief and anger through the industry. The cast and crew who had poured years of their lives into the project were left with nothing to show for their work. But Batgirl was just the tip of the iceberg. A slew of other projects were also axed. Scoob, Holiday Haunt, nearly complete, permanently shelved. Several original series developed for Max were canceled. Demimonde, J.J. Abrams' sci-fi drama, had been in development for years. Even beloved, critically acclaimed shows were not safe. Westworld was canceled and removed from Max. Dozens of other titles vanished from the service overnight. Animated series. Behind the headlines about canceled shows and corporate strategy lies a profound human cost. The mandate to find billions in savings inevitably led to massive layoffs. Thousands of employees across the globe lost their jobs. These were not just numbers in a quarterly report. Writers, producers, animators, marketing professionals, technicians, executives, entire departments were gutted or eliminated. The streaming platform CNN Plus launched just weeks before the merger was shut down, almost immediately putting hundreds of newly hired journalists and producers out of work. It was a brutal and swift demonstration of the new management's priorities. The layoffs hit particularly hard in divisions that were seen as redundant or not central to the new company's core mission. The well-regarded diversity, equity, and inclusion programs were significantly downsized, raising concerns about the company's commitment to fostering new voices. The series of cost-cutting measures has led to a powerful accusation against Warner Brothers Discovery. The company is prioritizing short-term profit over long-term creativity. Critics argue that the leadership team has a background in unscripted television and a laser focus on the stock price. They don't fully appreciate nurturing artistic talent or building a legacy of quality. HBO's culture was built over decades by taking risks on visionary creators and giving them time and resources to produce groundbreaking work. The fear is that this culture cannot survive when every project is judged by its immediate contribution to the bottom line. This new mandate shows up in the company's content strategy. There's a clear preference for content that's safe, scalable, and tied to pre-existing intellectual property. The focus is expanding major franchises. The rise of Warner Brothers Discovery is the most prominent example of a wider trend in media consolidation. A handful of giant corporations, Disney, Netflix, WBD, grow ever larger. These giants have the resources to buy up smaller studios, acquire exclusive rights to major sports leagues, and outspend any potential rivals. This makes it incredibly difficult for new independent players to gain a foothold. The high walls of this walled garden ecosystem mean that creators have fewer places to sell their ideas, viewers have fewer truly independent choices. This concentration of power poses a significant risk to media diversity. A healthy cultural landscape is one that features big-budget blockbusters. This story of a corporate merger debt cancellations may seem distant from your daily life, but it matters deeply. The shows you watch with your family, the movies that make you think, the news you consume to understand the world are all at the center of this struggle. Media is not just entertainment. It is a powerful force that shapes our understanding of ourselves and each other. It builds empathy, sparks conversation, preserves our cultural memory. When control over this powerful force becomes concentrated in fewer and fewer hands, we all have reason to be concerned. The case of Warner Brothers Discovery is a stark warning about the risks of unchecked corporate power in the creative sphere. As a viewer and a citizen, you are not powerless. The first step is awareness. Understand who owns the media you consume. Your subscription dollars and your attention are the most powerful currencies you have, because who controls the stories controls the future.